Hi everybody, welcome to the Nick the Brave Chemo Kitties and Canines podcast. I'm your host, Nick the Brave. As someone battling cancer, I know how important it is to stay positive in the rough times. This is the only podcast that looks at the heroes behind the scene who help people that need it the most. Hi everyone, welcome to the Nick the Brave Chemo Kitties and Canines podcast. I'm your host, Nick the Brave, and today I have Graham Betchart. Graham is one of the world's leading mental performance coaches. He has worked with some of the NBA's best athletes, including Aaron Gordon, Ben Simmons, Karl Anthony Towns, and Andrew Wiggins. And for those who don't know, Andrew Wiggins played on my Kansas Jayhawks. Hi, Mr. Betchart. Welcome to the podcast.
Oh, Nick, thank you so much for having me. I've been excited since I got invited to be on your podcast, and I'm pumped to be here today and excited.
I know I told our listeners a little about yourself. Could you tell a little bit more?
Yeah. So I'm a mental skills coach, and I got introduced to mental training when I was 19 years old. I learned how to meditate, how to visualize, the power of positive self-talk. And this totally changed my life. And I love sports a lot. And a few years later, someone mentioned to me the word sports psychology. And I didn't even know that was a field. And I thought to myself immediately, that's what I want to do with my life, is teach these mental health skills that I learned. And I want to teach it to athletes. And so that's how I got going.
This podcast is about people who help others. You have many things going on in your life. How do you strive to help other people as you do all the jobs that you do?
Well, I think, first of all, great question. It comes from a place of service for me. So I follow my heart, and I genuinely love seeing other people become successful in whatever they want to do in their life. So for me, it's the most fulfilling thing to teach them some tools and some practices that can help them with their life and achieve their best. I absolutely love it.
How long does it usually take to meditate? Like, you always see people try to meditate and they get bored.
That's a great question. So what I did was, I'm just like you. I was like, I have to sit here for a long time. This is hard. My mind is racing all over the place and I have energy. And so it's not about how long you have to meditate, right? What we figured out was it doesn't matter how long you do it, just make it a little practice. So what I did is I started making 5-minute meditations. I started to make just little 5-minute meditations so people could just have a little bite-sized taste of doing this. It's not about, I have to sit there for 2 hours, with my eyes closed. So I start off with just a couple minutes.
What made you get on the positivity track?
I think when I was young, I realized, look, you have a choice in life. You have a choice, meaning like your attitude is a choice. How do I approach what's going on in life? And by having a positive attitude, it doesn't mean that you're not facing challenges and you're not going through stuff. It's just as challenges come to you in life, you approach them with an attitude of gratitude. And so I think early on in my life, I was taught that. And then as I started to practice it, I realized, man, this is so powerful. Just having that attitude of gratitude and practicing that every day is immensely powerful. And I made a deal with myself when I was in 4th grade. I said, I always want to do this for the rest of my life. I want to have this attitude of gratitude and be devoted to bringing joy, bringing positivity to what I do. So I try to bring positivity to the challenges. I bring positivity to the struggles. And I do the best I can to bring good energy everywhere.
What is the biggest impact you've had in people's lives, and how do you think you've done that?
Oh, man. When I got taught this, all I wanted to do was teach it to other people. That's all I wanted to do was share. So sometimes when people come to me, like I was working with a kid who was 14 years old. This was 15 years ago. He's now 29, and he came to me and said, this really impacted my life on such a deep level. And maybe when I first started teaching him, he wasn't aware of that. But as life goes on, he became more aware. When you see it impact someone's life, it just is huge for me. And it means everything. So to see when someone says that to you, that something you've said has helped them a little bit, it's greatly impactful.
People were saying this podcast helped during coronavirus because everyone one was so negative.
I'm so grateful for what you're doing because we all need this right now. And come on, Nick, this year has been like the toughest year of most people's lives. So I'm grateful for your podcast.
What are the positive things you would like to tell everyone who would like to know about people you've met during your travels?
I would say this. I've had a chance to work with some professional athletes, some basketball players that play in the NBA. And this is what I've noticed. They're just human beings like everyone else. They're just human beings. So even if they're like really good at basketball, or maybe they're really tall or something like that, what I've learned is these are human beings who need love, want to feel connected, need to be appreciated, need to have connections with other humans. So on my travels, what I've learned is we're all connected. We all need each other. And no matter how good you are at a sport, you're no better than anyone else, right? We all have the same value here on Earth.
You are on social media and work with a lot of different types of people. However, sometimes social media isn't so positive. What do you do to stay positive with the negative people that might be out there?
So be very aware of social media, right? That's not where I try to find a lot of my connections in life. So when I'm on social media, I use it as a place to give positivity and to give out a good message. But I really just try to let go of all the comments and all that stuff is out there. So you do have to be pretty disciplined with that and be able to kind of block that out. Because as you know, if you get caught up in the negative comments, it can make you start to feel pretty bad, So basically you focus on what you can control.
Not everybody has the same opinions. People are different. Do you ever think how your positivity brings people together? If so, how do you think that'll work?
I think you brought up a really good point. We're all different, right? Every human being is different. So I think learning to appreciate and include everyone, no matter who they are, where they are, what they're a part of, as we learn to include people and bring that in, we all feel a sense of connectedness. I mean, some of the best feelings I have ever had are a feeling of connectedness, working with a team or a group or other people. And so I try to bring people together with that positivity so they can experience something that's bigger than themselves.
What are the long-term goals in terms of what you do for other people?
My goal has always been to normalize mental training, to make it something that everyone has access to. And now I want everyone to have that ability to do some of this work. I found it at 19 years old, and I felt like I got very lucky that my mom knew someone. I wish I had been introduced to this while I was in grammar school, and I'd started to practice with it. So my goal is to make sure everyone knows they have it inside of them. And with some practice and effort, they can get better at it. And all of us have infinite potential inside of us that's ready to get unlocked if we do the work on our own personal development.
I always ask this question on my podcast. Who do you think is someone positive that should be on my podcast in the future?
Wow, really good question. One person that comes to mind who could be a great fit, a gentleman named Aaron Gordon. He's a basketball player who I've worked with since he was a little kid. He's 25 years old now. He's a super positive person and believes in all of this stuff. Sometimes the challenge is, his season is about to start again soon, so they get super busy. But that's a super positive person who could be a great person for your show. Nick, I know a few other people too. I know some other mental coaches who I think would have a great time on your show, who are really positive people. So I'd love to introduce them to you. One of them is named Laura Wild. Laura Wild was the mental coach for the Clippers. She's just an amazing person and really, really positive. So I think you might really love interviewing her as well.
Thank you for everything you've done for other people all through your work. Thank you for being on my podcast, Graham.
This is thepodcastfactory.com.